Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 173 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's swinging through the trees with me tonight?
It's Nate.
Talking
About the best game.
And we got Alyssa here as well.
Welcome back, both of you.
Thanks.
So we are here to talk about a game that I have a long history with, Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong's Quest for Super Nintendo. It came out in 1995. Man, that's a while ago.
It's actually Diddy's Kong Quest. It's a pun. Yeah.
I said it wrong.
That's why it's the best game, because it starts off with the pun, and you're like, this is good.
So this actually was another game that my mom did find, which doesn't happen very often, but yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom bought this game for me. I don't know if I asked for it or not. I just know that I had it as a kid and played it a lot, but never beat it.
Yeah.
Because I was not good at these type of games.
It's a hard game.
It is. I played it a few years ago before the podcast, and on a Retro Pi, and I really hated it and wanted nothing to do with it. And I'm like, this game is terrible. I'm like, it's too damn hard. And I replayed it for on a Switch with Rewind, and my opinion isn't the same, thankfully. So, Alyssa, what is your memories of this game? The first time you played it?
So I used to play it when I was younger, and I would play it with my sister Haley, and she would carry me through the game. Like I was very, very bad at this game. It was so difficult. Yeah, so basically I would just watch her play the game because I would die within the first 5 seconds on the board.
I can understand. It's tough.
Yeah.
And you, Nate?
Yeah, I had this game as a kid. I distinctly remember having a birthday party, and I just ditched my own birthday party to go play DKC2. And I loved it as a kid. I don't think I ever beat it. I know I played the final boss, but I think that was on my brother's save file. And then I replayed it on 3DS when that came to the new 3DS. And then, I replayed it on the Switch for the show.
Switch is the right way to play it.
Yeah. Getting those bonus barrels, without rewind or, save states, it's just, it was a different era.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got some, but I never got all of them. I can't care enough to do it. Because that involves me looking stuff up.
Yeah. Oh, I looked it up 100%. I was just I don't I knew where a lot of them were, because a lot of them are in false pits, or they're just hidden on the top of the screen and you have to do the A move where you toss the other Kong up to hit it. But I looked up a few to just be I don't know where this is.
They're hard.
Yeah.
For all the Kremlin coins, which unlock bonus levels that are really hard, and then the DK coins that unlock a secret boss fight if you get everything.
Did you guys do that?
No.
I did not. No. When I replayed this game, I realized how terrible I am at it, and it was just very disappointing, because I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty good at video games, and I consider myself a decent gamer, but when I was playing this game, it was just very unfortunate, because I'm like, man, I really suck at this game.
It's hard.
It is hard.
I mean, I played the first DKC, and that is a lot easier than this game. This game is... Yeah. Well, plus, Super Nintendo era was very good at, you played this game, this came out before, so we expect you to, be ready to play something that's harder. And they would purposely make stuff that was way harder. I have the opposite feeling. I cannot go, I find the original harder than the sequel.
Really?
This one,
it's still, this game is still hard, but, it just feels a lot better to play, where the first one is hard, and it doesn't feel it feels kind of mushy, I guess, when you're moving. And so it always just throws me off, and then I end up never completing the first game, because I'm I'm just going to go play the better one.
Oh, jeez. Sorry. Have either of you played the third one?
Yes. That one's underrated.
That one is impossible. I can't even get past the first world.
Yeah. I think I've seen... I don't know if I've ever beaten it. I know I've gotten far. I think the furthest I've gotten is there's a waterfall boss, and you're the elephant, and you have to shoot barrels at it. I think that's the furthest I've ever gotten in that game.
I have never played 3 for very long at all. It's on my list to do next season for the show, just because I need to play it.
It's underrated, but it is. Yeah, it feels insanely difficult.
I mean, it was also a thing in the SNES era. Like, you look at with Mega Man X and then Mega Man X2, it's like they expected, okay, well, you played this first one, so now we're going to make this way harder to get you into the next level. Like, that was a thing in the Super Nintendo era. Plus, they hated renting, so they made games extra hard so you couldn't beat them in a rental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Diddy Kong Quest feels like it's very much of that. I also remember I don't know how true this memory is, but I swear I had a dream about this game existing, seeing the cover before I saw the cover in a book, which doesn't make any sense, but that's how my brain remembers it, that I had a vision of this game. I always had this memory, like I remember knowing what this game was going to be before I saw it in the Game Informer issue or something that told me it was coming out.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure it's not true, but that's what my memory set tells me.
It is far. I have no idea when we got it as a kid. It just showed up in our Super Nintendo one day. I was like, cool.
That was the era, though. Like, you didn't even you look at especially early Nintendo games or Super Nintendo games. They don't even have release dates. Like, they can't even tell you exactly when Mario came out. They don't know because it wasn't documented very well.
Which, okay, this has nothing to do with Donkey Kong Country 2, but I distinctly remember having a cartridge that had Super Mario Brothers 1 through 3 and Super Mario World on it, like as part of the All-Stars. Did that actually exist?
That's a real thing.
Yes.
Okay, because every time I Google it, it's always listed as like a separate thing, and I'm like, no, I distinctly remember never having to switch out the cart. Like,
there's two different Mario All-Stars. I had the one that was just the old game, but there's also one they made later that included Super Mario World also.
Ah.
Yes.
See, I thought I was insane.
So yeah, you weren't hallucinating. It was real. I mean, don't you just do another thing like that they did change up in this game is that the characters are different because you have Diddy from the first game, but you don't have Donkey Kong because he's been captured, which is the whole story of this game. If anybody's playing it for the story, which nobody is, but that's the story. And then they introduce a new character of Dixie Kong, which doesn't really. Well, Donkey Kong hasn't really continued on very well. I feel like I know you have the Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Returns, but I don't think Dixie's in those. But again, I never played them. Dixie's
in Tropical Freeze.
Okay.
Not in Returns. Yeah.
So
I never played
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, screw Cranky Kong.
Hey.
I never liked Cranky. Just never have. I know Cranky's supposed to be the original Donkey Kong from the old Donkey Kong games with Mario.
Yeah.
Or Jumpman as he was known at the time, and then Donkey Kong, the one that you play as, is like his son or grandson, or I don't even remember.
Grandson.
Okay. Again, I don't pay attention to the story in Donkey Kong Country. I just play them. But I mean, it's definitely an interesting take the way it starts off because Diddy can jump higher than what Donkey Kong could have. So you have the extra jump in there, and both these characters are smaller, faster characters, which really sets the theme of what this game is going for.
Yes.
Which I don't like.
Oh, man.
Without Rewind, I did not like it.
See, I like that they did that, though, because, like, yeah, it would have been, like, a lot easier and probably easy, like, to develop and to market. Is just, like, this is Donkey Kong Country 2. It has Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, like, and more levels. And I'm sure it would have sold pretty well. But I like that they took the risk and were just like, nope, that guy's gone. Like, here's two fast characters. Like, go for it.
I mean, and Diddy's pretty much the same, but Dixie has the whole hair move where you can then kind of hover above to get to other gaps, which you have to sometimes.
It's called the goat move because it's the best.
I don't use, when I played through this game, I didn't use Dixie once, except when I had to. I used only Diddy.
Oh, man.
I rely on her so much.
Yeah.
I like Diddy better. I don't know.
I have to go now.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just that he had a more comfortable jump to me or something. I think he does jump higher than Dixie.
He's got the cartwheel too, which is like easier to read when you're doing like extended jumps.
Oh, I don't do that, but yes.
Oh, okay.
I know what you're talking about. Like, I mean, I'm not a speedrunner or the skills to do, or I had rewinds, so I didn't need. But yeah, where you can like cartwheel off a cliff,
off an edge, and then
continue jumping.
Yeah.
What Mike is saying is he didn't actually play the game.
he just played Donkey Kong Country 1 again.
Yeah.
He's just reading the Wikipedia.
Still a really good game. No, 2 is good. Like the worlds are very, very different. I mean, the whole story of you trying to, because Donkey Kong was captured and taken away to King K. Rool Island, which is an island shaped like a giant crocodile head, because that's how you make sure people don't know where you're at. It's a much different type of game too. Like the first level, you're on a pirate ship. Like none of these levels kind of like in Your Country, they all kind of fit together. You're on this Kong island. In this one, they don't fit together on an island. They're just very random, which is what they were going for.
Hold on, they totally fit together because the end of Donkey Kong Country 1, you're on a pirate ship. All right. And then at the beginning of Donkey Kong Country 2, you're on a pirate ship.
Yeah, you're on the same pirate ship from there. Yeah. You're attacking
and then, and then you go up, like you go in through the caverns, then you have to go up to, I don't remember what's next, jungle, I think. And then, it doesn't fit together, but it fits together.
Well, first you have Gangplank Galleon, which is the pirate ship.
Yeah.
Then you have Crocodile Cauldron, which is the lava level.
Mm-hmm. Crocodile Cauldron. Yep.
And then you have Kremquay, the swamp.
Oh yeah,
crazy Kremlin, the amusement park. Because let's have an amusement park on this frickin' island.
Entertainment. How are you gonna enlist a bunch of Kremlins to do your dirty work if you don't entertain them? Like the military gets shore leave. You saying that the Kremlin army doesn't?
Kremlin army is full of a bunch of people that just get killed.
And people who like to ride on roller coasters and skull roller coaster things
that are very unsafe with holes in the tracks.
Yes, with the best music in the game.
I did not play this with music most of the time.
You missed like everything.
Well, I did beat this on a plane too. When I played this, I was on a plane. So
everyone on that plane would have been like, "This is some ballin' music." If that's what the kids say these days, they're like, turn that ish up.
Except for this guy who gave his headphones to his wife because he forgot he had a second pair in his backpack. So I was not playing this with sound most of the time. But when I did play with sound, the sound was good. When I was in the hotel room, I played with music on.
I think this is just music-wise. I think this is the best video game soundtrack. Like all of the songs are just immediate bops, and they get stuck in my head when I play this game.
It is good music. When I was playing, what I heard, I did like it. I'm really weird about music in games. It has to be a very certain era and a very certain style of game to make me actually listen to music. Otherwise, I just don't bother. So. Mainly RPGs. It's got to be old RPGs where I really love that music. Otherwise, and it has to be from an era. Otherwise, I just will not touch it. It's very odd to me. Makes no sense. But I do want to talk about like Gangplank Galleon, because that's the one I remember playing a lot as a kid because it was easier, so I would play through those levels. I feel like the ship levels do a very good job of introducing you to the mechanics of the game and the style, and not really beating you down yet. They're not that hard, which was nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long before the game really ups its difficulty. I mean,
yeah, I would say I'd say I started having a lot of like deaths in World 3, the swamp.
Yeah,
like that's when I really started just dying a lot and going, oh.
I agree.
That's when it starts getting a lot harder.
Yeah, but those are also like where I'm familiar with the game, but like you said, Mike, I'm more familiar with like the beginning 2 areas. So like there's muscle memory involved in a lot of that, and then once I get to like swampland, I'm like, just get me out.
I mean, I can agree with that. I did enjoy like some of the lava levels. I was still having fun with, but I feel like when I did get to the swamp too, it kind of was hitting me like it's getting harder. I just know that when I played the game, the RetroPie with only save states, I got really, really upset with this game and was not enjoying it at all. Had a really bad taste in my mouth for this game and how I felt about it, which playing through a rewind took it away. I mean, the bosses I think are pretty creative. Like the first boss you run into is essentially kind of a redo of boss from the first game. What the hell is his name? It's that little crow guy.
Captain Crow, probably. Yeah. If I had to name bosses.
I'm pretty sure that is the name, Captain Crow. All of the bosses, they have K names. I just realized that this morning, actually, because I was thinking about all the bosses.
Yeah, they do.
There's Crow, Cleaver, Cudgel, King, Zing, Creepy, Crow, and Captain King.
Oh my god.
But it's all K's.
Yeah, that's Donkey Kong Country for you. I think they do it in the first game too.
Oh, really?
Everything's K's. But the Crow was fine. Like he's an easy first boss fight, but it also kind of shows you that the boss fights are different. They're not just all in a giant cave full of bananas anymore, because that's not the story of the game. Like in this case, he's a crow that is moving around back and forth, and he'll drop eggs that you have to then grab to hit him. And at one point you have to just wait for him to just keep attacking until he drops an egg. Like it's a better than the concept in the earlier boss. Like the boss fight in DKC 1 are not good. They're all just almost the same thing, different enemies, but they're very simple. They're just grab a barrel or hit them and okay, move on. And this game it made them much more intense and much more throwing. You can't jump on any of them. It's all about having to use barrels.
Yeah.
Or cannonballs or something. You can't. Where the first game, you're mostly jumping on them except for the big giant bee.
Yes.
Which was a nice change.
That, if we can talk about it, that bee boss is really cool. And there is a lot of, which I was surprised on the Switch at least. So I'm sure it happened on the Super Nintendo, but there's a lot of lag. Like when he shoots his little stingers out and they go in like 4.
Yes.
And then you hit his stinger and he like goes, "Rawr," and it like, oh, there's a lot of slowdown. I was like, oof, I don't remember this on the 3DS.
He was a good fight. I mean, is that the fight you do as the parrot?
Yes. It's a cool fight. Like this game, I think, is just like, it has the coolest boss fights, in my opinion. Because they're just like, they're designed really cool. They have like layers to it. Like, you fight the crow. And then when you fight Creepy Crow, like there's more platforming sections involved in climbing it. So it's not just like a reskin of it. Like you have to climb up ropes and stuff and dodge ghost crows, which is cool. There's Cleaver, which you like quote unquote kill him and he falls into the lava and you're like, I'm done. And then he comes back and he's super pissed and he chases you around, which terrified me as a kid. I was like, I do not want that.
He's a giant sword.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
He's like, it's a possessed sword, probably. If you read the item descriptions. But yeah, I think this game has like the best boss fights in the series.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you mentioned like the boss fight or whatever. Can we talk about that world? Because that world is
we can bounce all around this game. That's completely fine.
Okay, well, that world is, some of the boards are just so confusing. Or I'm like, okay, where are we supposed to go? Like, it just, I don't know, when I was replaying it, because at first I actually watched my sister play through the game because she, as I mentioned earlier, when I was younger, like, she used to play it all the time. So I watched it and I was like, wow, okay, so now I know like where some of these things are. But when I played it, I totally, like, I was like, okay, what did she do? Like, where did she go? Like, I was very lost in some of the boards because it was just very difficult to me. I have no idea why.
It's, yeah, they can get confusing. There's one level where you can, like, loop yourself. Like, you go up to, like, a secret area and then you fall back down and you think you're going the right way again. And then you're just, like, back at the beginning.
Yes.
And I was like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't remember the level name, but it's I used to think it was cheese, like melted cheese as a child, and now I realize it's fucking honey.
Well, I mean,
but like as a kid, I was like, this makes sense. I'm in melted cheese. I would slow down. Like,
I mean, it could be if you weren't introduced to honey a lot as a kid. Like, I wasn't introduced to honey really.
Well, honey, in my kid's mind, honey is like golden, and like this is bright yellow.
Okay, I was more thinking of maybe you just weren't given honey to eat, so you're like, well, I get cheese, so this is cheese.
No, I was definitely old enough to know what honey was.
Oh, okay, then I got nothing.
Stupid.
I mean, it is a cool concept where you stick to the cheese on the level, but it's not. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, I mean, you have bees everywhere. You're trying to jump around the bees. They do a good job of making the levels difficult and creative and giving them something different than what you would have had in the first game. Because in the first game, you didn't have any cheese to stick on. So
yeah,
that's what I'm calling it from now on.
It's really good level design, too, because you first encounter it and there's no obstacles. You just get stuck. And so you kind of have to, like, mess with your controller until you get used to like getting unstuck and moving forward. And then they gradually start to put like, okay, here's one bee, like here's two bees. All right, here's an enemy that can just walk through it and you have to like, time your jumps to not get hit or, jump on the enemy and kill it. And I think that's just like really good level design because it eases you into the challenge of the level without just immediately, throwing you in and going figure it out.
this game does do a good job of letting you learn new things before shoving your face in it to murder you. Because it does. I mean, it literally. I mean, there are some very challenging parts in this game where it will try to kill you, but it doesn't. I felt it did do a good job of introducing you to something. Like you constantly have animal levels in this game. You use the animals a lot more than you do in 1. And unfortunately, in this game, a lot of times you like possess the animal, so you just are the animal, and you can't get rid of them, and the animals suck sometimes. And
are you talking about the swordfish?
The swordfish isn't. Swordfish is fine. Like I didn't get him very much. I don't think I explored enough in the water.
You better not
levels.
be talking about my boy Radley.
I don't like Radley. Radley's garbage. The garbage snake.
Okay.
I really don't like him.
Mike, we're gonna come over there and jump you right now.
Yeah.
Well, good news. You won't get too far away.
Radley plushes and just beat the shit out of you with them.
I just don't like him, and I know I can't be the I know I'm probably one of the few that just doesn't. Yeah, he's just not.
I honestly think that's a general consensus among like.
Oh, okay.
I've definitely heard that like while watching a GDQ event. It's like people do not like to play as Radley, but I like him. He's fun. He's springy. He can jump on bees, which is always useful.
Cute.
But what really makes me not like him is there's a level near the end of the game where you have to use him. And you have to do like his charge jump, and I did not know how to do it and couldn't understand why I was missing.
See, that's because you didn't respect him, so he never showed you.
I had to Google, and then it took me a little bit of Googling to find out. Oh yeah, hold down this button or something, and then he charges up and he can jump higher. So
that level's tough.
Yes, toxic something is really bad.
Toxic climb. Yeah,
it is the worst level in the game by far.
No, toxic tower. Sorry. I wouldn't say it's the worst. It's definitely the longest. Like,
it's the worst to me that isn't a bonus area. The bonus levels are really tough, and I am not a fan of them.
Do you guys remember the board where you're in like there's all those vines, like those spiky vines, and you have to be the parrot, and you have to like. Yes, that for me is the worst part.
Are you talking where you have to race the purple parrot?
Yes.
Okay, that level's pretty bad too.
Yeah, I hate that little guy.
Yeah, that is almost impossible.
And like, I always go too fast, and then I hit a bramble, and I'm like, oh shit! And then that purple parrot passes me, and I'm like, oh fuck you! Like,
we got to give it credit that they took one of the worst animals in the first game, Squawk, the parrot who did nothing but hold a light for you, I think, in the first game, and here they have you flying as him, shooting coconuts out of his mouth at enemies, like. They changed up him a lot from where he was in the first game.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the first game, I think he's just in one level where he holds a light for you or something. In one of the mine levels near the end.
Yeah.
And this one, like, if we're talking about the animals that are in this game, we have Rambi and the rhino, we got the snake, we got the swordfish, and they added the spider, which I think his name was Squidler?
Something
and
like
then,
that.
Yeah, and then we got the clapper seal, and then you just talked about yeah, clapper seal, like that. Yeah,
I like the seal.
Those boards were interesting too, like the ones where you had to like jump on him so he made the water like normal. But then the one,
and he was always so excited to help you. He's always clapping.
I know.
You're like,
I mean, you just jumped on his back and just hit him in the head. But he's like, "Oh,
I was like, yeah, I got you." But he was always so happy about it. He's like, "I helped you out, man. Like, my back's broken, but I got you. The water you can swim through now. Please don't come this way again."
I like the seal a lot. I don't know why. Because I didn't have to control him because he was just there. He was nice and simple. I just jumped on him like a switch, and he went like you said, and then he just freezes the water or makes it not lava. So it was nice. I was very happy with him.
You have the Glimmer anglerfish, which like that board as well. I did not like because the controls, like whenever you move like left or right, the light just blinds you while you're playing the board.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And like if you do it fast enough, you could like cause a seizure.
I know.
Yeah, this is at a time when they weren't worried about that as much.
No.
They didn't realize it. I forgot the anglerfish are even in this game. Like there's that one level, I think only one level you have him in, and just he's gone, thankfully.
But that's what's cool, is like they have so many levels and like so many different ideas that they can just do, a one-off level with the anglerfish and call it good. Like,
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of games now where it's like, well, we made this asset of this fish, so we're going to use it in like 5 different areas, you know? And back then they were just like, we made this dopey fish, like just this level, whatever, it's fine, move on.
And then, I mean, Rambi, which you mentioned, he's pretty much just the same as he was in the first game.
Right.
And the only one that is in this game, but not in the version, because we all played the Super Nintendo version. I guess the ostrich is actually in the Game Boy Advance version only.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Which I did not know.
You know what? I didn't even miss that guy.
There's quite a bit of differences in the Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah, didn't they add
for a while.
more levels?
Yeah, and like for example, the Donkey Kong coins, there's a lot more in the Game Boy Advance version too for you to find.
That's horrible.
Because there's like more, like bonus stages and stuff like that. And then even like in the beginning, you can do like I think it's called Diddy's Dash, so you can play certain boards. You know, you have to do it like in a fast manner. Like you can't, take your time. You have to kind of race through the board.
You're a speedrunner. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Which I am not.
Oh yeah, this game, no way.
No, I also this was a game that I played. I played the first level when I was high because I was in Vegas and I could. So, and the first world I played completely high, and I was like, "This is great!" Like I had this. Like I know I played this mostly out sound, but I played the first Gangplank Galleon and the lava level with sound on while high on edibles, and it was just great. Like the sound, everything was so awesome. I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, okay, now I understand why people will smoke or do edibles and then want just cartoons or something. Like I got it. Like this game was just amazing for that hour. And it wasn't as much, but the first hour was great.
I think I ate a whole sleeve of Oreos. The same effect.
Mine was less fattening, but more fun. Well, I was in Vegas and somebody had bought a can of edibles that we couldn't take with us, so I'm like, well, I'll just do this while I play Donkey Kong 2. I got to finish it.
Oh my, yeah, you just had to, Mike. Okay.
I did actually have to, because I had to play it so I could play other games. Hey, I got a tough schedule that I make for myself. Really,
the LVPD is just banging on the hotel door like, you better finish that game and that can.
I finished on the plane. The other thing I want to talk about, because I really like the boss of Lava Land, I'm going to call it, the Claymore. I know we talked about him before, but I wanted to finish something with him. It's just that he just looks so damn cool to me. Like he was a boss that always stuck in my head, even though he doesn't. I know, yeah. It's just he's probably my favorite boss of this entire game. Like I love the way he looks. I've always been a big fan of swords, so getting to fight a giant sword boss to me is just awesome.
And his death when he spins around is really cool too, and then he sinks into the lava
And you can see all the little pieces flying around when he's spinning around too. I like that.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked much about the swamp area, but the swamp. I think when we were saying before, the game gets a lot harder. But also, with the swamp levels, you have a lot of interesting platforms. I felt that they do with you. They start to really up the difficulty. But everything interesting, the boss that you fight in there. God, what the hell is his name? It's something Krem or something. Cudgel. Yeah. He is actually the same guy you buy bonus levels from when you get Kremlin coins.
Yeah.
Because you see him in every world, you'll see him in an area where you have to have 12 or 15, I think 15 Kremlin coins, and then you can get a terrible secret level.
Well, that's because the Kremlin army doesn't pay that well, so it's like a side hustle for him. So he's like, you meet him at the end, and a little dialogue box pops up, and he goes, I don't really want to do this because you paid me 30 Kremlin coins so far, but I have to. My boss says I have to, and Diddy's like, I get it, man.
He's a cool fight, though.
That's why you only use barrels and you don't use any cannonballs or anything like that.
I like this game how it did it with the boss fight, where it's always just you're waiting for that opportunity when some item, a barrel, cannonball, something will drop that then you can use against the enemy to hurt them.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I don't always like that in games when they do that type of stuff, but in this it actually worked well for me. I didn't feel like it was cheap. Yeah,
I think this is the boss that I had the most trouble with, besides the secret. Well, the 102% completion King K. Rool fight, that one is, that fight's tough. This one I had the most trouble with because I'd always grab, I think it's his second phase, if you can call it that, but where he, the barrel drops and then he jumps into the air. I would always run and go grab the barrel, and then he'd drop down and stun me and then just hit me, and I was like, frick, I fall for it every time.
Yeah, it's a second
It's a good tactic.
Oh, and speaking of animal friends, I wanted to mention about. I actually liked the spider, and I remember as a kid thinking how cool the spider was in this game. I don't know, he's not.
So you like the spider and not the snake?
No, snake's terrible, but the spider's cool.
Is it?
I mean, because he can make webs where he can, and he has shoes. He has 8 pairs of shoes, or 4 pairs of shoes. Come on,
so cute.
He went to a cobbler, and he's like, "I need 8 shoes," and the guy was like, "Okay."
I mean, I think that what I like about the spider is he's orange, and as a kid, I really like the color orange a lot. And then 2, I like which is simple, but I like the fact that he makes platforms for you to go onto, and he has a good range attack. He's a useful animal buddy.
This playthrough, I learned, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can hit, like, to make the webs go up or down, you can hit L or R, and he'll just automatically shoot them. You don't have to hold the D-pad. And I was like, oh.
What?
Yeah, you hit L or R.
I didn't know
what I
that.
was doing.
Yeah, I would always, like, when I played this game previously, I would die because I would, like, try to hold, like, up and, like, shoot the web on the D-pad, and sometimes my fat thumb would just make me go forward and I'd fall off the web I was on. Oh, dang, that sucks.
And, talking about the cudgel guy, what you're supposed to do is you can grab the barrel, walk like a little bit forward where you're standing, and then he'll drop on it almost. I'm watching a speedrunner,
really?
and that's what they do. They just walk like maybe an inch forward, and they just turn around and hit him.
Wow.
You can kind of go underneath his arm. I don't know.
I
wanted to share that information with you.
We appreciate it, Mike.
So, one thing I want to talk about is the Crazy Kremlin. Like, we were talking a little bit about it. Those levels are, like, they brought back the minecart levels, but they found a way to make it fit when you're not in a mine by putting you on a roller coaster.
They made them better, is what he's trying to say.
I like them. They weren't bad. I mean, they did a good job of adding to them.
They, like, okay, first of all, the music, Disco Train is the track name. Just, like, if I was a DJ and I was DJing at a club, I would play that song every night. Like, people would be like, dude, this is a good dance song. And I'd be like, yeah, man, it's from a video game. And then they go, what? And then you got, like, one of them is a race, and you have to get to the front.
That one's fun.
Or I think you have to finish, like, top 3, but if you get into the front, you get the DK coin for the level.
You can kill everybody in front of you, so it's great.
Yeah, it's not a hard level to get the DK coin in. And then you have the one where you have to hit the barrels that open up the gates, and then later in the level, they try to mess with you, and they put the red barrels to close the gates. And I always appreciated that.
It's a real fuck you moment.
It is. And then, the biggest fuck you is when they do 2 red barrels and then the green barrel in the middle, and you have to do just the quickest hop to, like, hit the open button. And I think that's, like, one of the final ones before the level ends. And I'm just like, that's so good. And then you got the ghost one where you're on a timer and you have to hit the barrels to keep, like, to keep the ghosts from the big ghost skeletons from getting you. And that's awesome too. Like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they do a lot with that, just that simple concept, which I like. I like those levels.
Yeah.
Anytime I wasn't, didn't have to be Squawk or the Snake, I was happier. I was okay with those. Those levels were fun to me. There's a lot of Squawk in this game, though. Like, they have a lot of levels where you got to play as him.
Speaking of, the first Radley level when you're on the pirate ship and it has the green background and it plays the song Snakey Chanty, like, I dare anyone to listen to Snakey Chanty and just not, like, immediately get hyped, not immediately smile. Like, that song is so good. It's probably the best track.
All right, Nate. I just wrote down that name so that I can listen to this when we're done here.
It's good.
Yeah, he's right.
It's good. Like, you cannot listen to that song and be like, I'm in a foul mood.
You're right. When I heard it, I was also high when I heard this, I think, too. So I was.
Oh my gosh, Mike.
Hey, I don't ever get high. It was one of my first time in my life, and probably my only time for a long time, so I have to talk about it when I can. I don't smoke or do anything. I was just, since it was legal and I was in Vegas, I figured why not? Why not enjoy it?
Mm-hmm, sure.
You're not supposed to talk about Vegas.
That's what you want to show. But yeah, I did look up that song, and you're right, that is actually really good.
The whole, like, I highly recommend the whole soundtrack. Like, it's full of bops and bangers, and it's good.
I gotta say, Rare did a really good job of making good music on the Super Nintendo.
It's David Wise, which he made 1 and 2, and then 3. Him and I don't remember her name, but they collaborated on the DKC3 soundtrack, which also has some good songs. But I think DKC2 is the best work he's done.
I think DKC2 is probably the one that's recognized as the best in the series too, though, for most people. I feel like.
Yeah.
I know 3 is not as loved.
Yeah, 3's underrated in my opinion. Like 3 gets too much hate, or maybe not hate is the right word, but a lot of people are just like, oh, 3's okay, and I'm like, 3 has some really cool things going on in it. Like if 3 came out before 2, and then DKC2 was actually DKC3, people would be like, oh, DKC, the one with Dixie and Kitty is good, and then DKC2 is amazing. I got lost in the sauce.
It's just a sample of when you get something that you always expect the sequel to be better, and for a lot of people, this game you can't get better than this game. I mean, if I would have not replayed this, I would have said this game's garbage because I just had such a bad taste. But as I replayed it, the levels are fun. I mean, yes, they're very challenging, but the game it teaches you. You just have to be smarter than at times. You have to play better. You have a lot of enemies that take 2 hits sometimes. You have enemies that you can't kill as Diddy or Dixie because they're stronger enemies, and you would need Donkey Kong, which isn't in this game. You have a lot of bouncing off things. You have a lot of levels that really train you, and it's fun when you get the hang of it. Like if you know what you're doing, it's fun. And that's what it's meant to teach you. And there's so many bonus stages, so many opportunities to unlock. There's so much extra in this game compared to the first one.
And the secrets are sometimes too good at hiding. It's insane. Some of the leaps of faith you have to take, which sometimes they're I think in the first few worlds, they're 1 or 2 bananas and they go into a pit. And you're
they teach you.
Yeah, and then you go in and you get shot up into the sky from a bonus barrel, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So then it teaches you hey, maybe not every pit is a death pit.
Most are. But in the first game, all the bonuses were extra lives. But in this game, the bonuses are Kremlin coin, DK coins, which you need to unlock levels or unlock the final level if you get all the DK coins. There's so much to it that this game does that it really makes you care about bonuses where somebody might have not cared in the first game. I didn't care in either game, but it's nice that it's there.
I went for 102% in this game.
Nice.
Which is... I mean, I've only replayed it twice since I was a kid. Once on 3DS and once on Switch. But both times I went for 102% because I just love playing this game. And I'm I want to fight the final boss again. And then I get to the final boss and I'm like, God, I don't want to fight you. You're too tough. Have you guys seen the final boss? Watched videos of him?
Yeah.
Not recently.
He shoots out a purple goo and it reverses your controls. And it's the worst because then you have to learn the reverse controls. And once you just start getting used to that, it wears off. And then you just run into his barrel or his cannon or him. And you're like, dang it. But it's a fun fight. And it's not overly long too. It's just I think it's 3 to 4 hits that you have to get in on him.
That's not bad.
No.
I don't like when you have to do just too many. I've never in any game. I don't like when the boss overstays their welcome, where it just becomes the first K. Rool fight in Donkey Kong Country is too long.
Yeah,
especially when it shows you the credits, hey, you beat the game.
But that is kind of funny though. They show you the credits and then
they're all K credits. Yeah.
Yeah, and people probably put the controller down and then
I did.
He comes back and they're like, oh no, not ready.
I did the first time, and I was like, what the fuck?
I was drinking my Tang, Mom.
God, is Tang even still around?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, I was just curious since you said
it. But yeah, it's. I think they do a good job, as far as showing you where you're missing the bonus barrels, because you need all bonus barrels and all DK coins, and to have beaten the bonus levels to go to final K. Rool. And the levels, if you get all bonus barrels, will add an exclamation point showing you that you got it. Yeah. And then it shows a DK coin after the exclamation point once you get the DK coin. So it's real easy, like in game, to just keep track of what levels you're missing them on, you know? Like you don't have to go in and try every level and make sure that you got it.
Which is nice. I don't like it when games don't show you things like that. They just make you figure it out. Like, you're not going to remember all these collectibles.
Yeah. And it's honestly like a clever way of showing it too, because it's not like in your face. It's just an exclamation point where, you know, when you're going back through the levels, you're like, oh, did Toxic Tower like always have an exclamation point on it? You know, like, and then you realize, oh, that's because I did extra stuff in it. Like, I get it now. It's
a good way to show.
Yeah.
And one thing we haven't mentioned yet is another new thing in this game is when you have two Kongs, you can have them piggyback and you can throw one of them.
Yep.
To get the barrels or get the places you couldn't get to otherwise. Or use them as a projectile and kill them. So it will if you hit them with against the wrong enemies. So.
But that's, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. Like, for the death pits, I think you can, like, you know, kind of toss your second Kong down there, and if there's a barrel, or like if there's something down there, the camera will kind of adjust. So then so you're not wasting a life just checking all the pits. Like you can just like, you know, toss it, and like the second Kong doesn't die. It just warps back to you if there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool thing to have. Like, I think the game needed that, to add extra things to this game from the first one to, really differ it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no problem. I use it sometimes. Like, I would go after the bonus barrels I saw. I just didn't go out of my way for bonus barrels, especially not after a while when I realized that I needed all the DK coins and all the Kremlin coins. I said, fuck it, I'm done.
Like, you're supposed to go above and beyond because this is your show. You should have had all the coins.
My above and beyond is I make more episodes than I should. That's my above and beyond. So. Oh, and then I do want to mention when I was fighting the bee, I didn't realize you had to hit him in the ass. I kept hitting him in the face, and I realized, and it took me a little bit before I realized I'm not hurting him. Nothing's happening.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I'm really good at games sometimes. Just excellent.
It's that the noise it makes when you hit the stinger too is weird. I don't know how else to describe it.
You hit him in the ass with a coconut. He's not happy.
And it sounds like glass breaking, but not like, I guess maybe like a bunch of ice breaking at once. And it's like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, that just always stuck out at me as a kid. It is a cool fight. The level before Run Ramby Run, where like right before you turn into Ramby and then you go through and the bee is chasing you, is really cool too.
Yeah, that one's fun.
And I do want to talk about some of the spooky levels, as I put it, because I didn't have a better description. Those I thought got pretty hard too, but it was kind of a cool aesthetic that you're in like haunted houses and stuff of that nature. I thought it was very interesting. Like, you have the ropes that are ghost ropes that appear and disappear. Ooh. It did a good job of it. And this is when you fight the boss, which is the crow from earlier in the game, but now he's a ghost crow. You gotta fight him. Which is fine. I mean, this game has a lot less bosses than DKC 1, but they're more creative bosses and not just stupid.
Not just basic enemies.
That are big, yeah.
Well, I guess most of some of the bosses are basic enemies blown up.
But they don't feel basic.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you look at DKC 1, you have the beaver. I think you can fight the beaver a second time. I can't remember now.
Yeah,
but,
you do. Yeah.
Okay, like, you have really dumb bosses. And this game did a good job of making them interesting and different.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
So that's another thing that's very... And this game does do a good... And then because anything else you want to say about the Spooky Land or any of those levels? I can't remember them offhand, besides the ghost one you get chased by.
The level where the wind is blowing?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a bad level.
It's not a fun level. Yeah, that level sucks.
I did not like it.
No.
But it really makes you test your jumping.
Yeah.
I was never... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alyssa.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was just agreeing that it's testing your jumping and your timing.
Yeah. That timing is... I was never confident. Like, I would be like, okay, the wind is going to stop, so I need to do, like, a really good jump. And then the wind would not stop, so I would just overshoot the platform. and I die or something. I'm like, all right, like, yeah, I can't trust anything.
There's also one level in the haunted area where you play just as the spider for the whole level.
Yeah.
Again, I like the spider, so I was okay with it. But I mean, it was something that they do often in this game, and they give you full levels where you're just an animal buddy, which is definitely an interesting thing to do because the first game didn't have that, of course. I don't know why I like the spider, to be honest. I have no idea why I like him. I just do.
It's because of the shoes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's his 8 shoes.
And like, it just might be because as a kid he was so cool to me.
I do remember thinking he was cool, but then when I replayed it, I was like, nah, Radley's my bro.
I liked Radley until that final level, Toxic Tower. That makes me hate Radley. So. And
when Radley gets hit too, he goes like he has the goofiest expression on his face, and he looks at the camera. And he's like, "Oh, how could you not love him?"
Easy. He has the worst level in the game for me. Because when I first played this game like 4 or 5 years ago, right before I started the podcast, I didn't think I was going to beat the game. I couldn't get through Toxic Tower. And
like for real, that is a hard level. Like it's long, and then you have that section at the end with the elevators. And like you can just get crushed on the sides, like yeah.
It's more challenging than I preferred. Like even just the last levels in the castle, I think are very hard. Like they really up the difficulty when you get to the castle.
That's where I used a lot of my save states and rewinds was in the castle.
Yeah,
like I would do save states like before like on the overworld because I didn't want to go to Granny Kong and spend 2 tokens to save.
Should we talk about how dumb that is?
It's stupid. Can we talk about how if you turn off the game, you just lose all your lives and your tokens?
Oh.
Which happened to me once. I had like 30 plus lives, and then I went to play something else on my Switch, and when I booted the game back up, I was just like, oh, 5 lives, cool. Like it's gonna get me fucking nowhere.
That's why you save state instead.
I did in the same state though.
I know, because you're not like me. You're not a cheater.
Well, it's not cheating. I just, I was like, okay, I legitimately saved the game. Like, I don't need to save state. Like, I'm just going to play this other game for a bit. And then when I came back, I was like, crap. Speaking of cheats, there are cheat codes in this game.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Me neither until I Googled it. Because I remembered, doing something as a kid, and you could, like, in the first level, and, like, it was... when I Googled it, I was like, oh yeah, that's what you have to do. But even now, like you have to like jump over the map. Like you go in the cabin, you jump over the map, you collect the coin, and then you leave, and then you jump over the map again, and then you walk out. And then you do something in the middle of the level, and then you come back, and then you jump over the map again and collect the coin, and then you jump out. And then when you go back and you jump over the map again, and you don't collect the red balloon. Once you collect the red balloon, it gives you 99 lives.
Oh.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like
how did anybody... That would be like this sound like some stupid thing you would hear in the playground. Be like, okay, so you do this, you do that, then you get.
I know, like how does one know to do that?
It probably was a cheat put in there for the testers. I bet is why it's there.
Or because they were like, oh, it's kind of shitty that we can't save your lives when you turn off the game. So like, just go back to the first world.
I think that
there's actually the message that says, stop complaining about it, Nathan. Like,
I think that was on purpose though. Like that feels like an on purpose thing. Like,
it is. Yeah.
You got the save thing too, where you don't keep your save life because again, rental was such a big thing in this era that games purposely did so many things to make sure you could not beat it in a rental period.
Yeah. Which is understandable.
They wanted their money, which I get it, but that's such a thing.
Well, like, so when you beat the game, Cranky Kong says something about like enabling cheats by pushing down, and you like when you don't think you can go down anymore, you just keep hitting down on the D-pad and you'll activate a cheat menu. And then it does the cool 90s thing where like he's like, I don't know what any of that means because what is down on a D-pad? Like, where the character acknowledges like they don't know what the A button does. They're just told to tell you the A button swings your sword. It's like, I don't know why I say that. Yeah. So then I'd gone to the main menu and like was trying it and I couldn't get it to work. And then I Googled it and you have to go to like options and then you can enable a sound test and then you can enter cheat codes.
That seems very complicated.
It's honestly, yeah. I was gonna say it's complicated, but it's another one of those things where, like, as a kid, I'm not going out to buy games. Like, I'm stuck with Donkey Kong Country 2. Not stuck with. I'm blessed to be spending my time with Donkey Kong Country 2. Like, I'm gonna try to do everything in the game, and like, if Cranky says there's a way to do this, I'm gonna try that, and then, like, ask my friends about it. Be like, did you know this?
I do want to talk about that horrid auto-scroller elevator level that I hate to death.
Isn't that Toxic Tower?
No, it's another one. I'm pretty sure. Because Toxic Tower is the one with Radley. There's a whole level with just an elevator.
Oh, that's the level I was thinking of. I always combine the two levels because
they're all terrible.
They are long and difficult.
The last section.
Yeah.
The levels they're so challenging. And they're miserable.
Which is understandable, but yeah.
And the game tricks you, which I do find amusing. You get to the top of the tower or the castle, and you go to the boss level, and you just see DK there, and that's it.
And it plays the music, and then it plays the most haunting melody you've ever heard in your life when K. Rool takes him up into the blimp.
It's kind of funny. I mean, it's much more a reference to what the first game did, where it tricks you. It's like, oh, you beat it. No, you didn't. So it's kind of like that, where you think you're done, but you're not done. You have to then go towards the airship, and you have a few more levels to do. I think the race with the stupid parrot that we mentioned earlier is in that airship area.
I think so, yeah.
One of the worst levels in the game. It's a bad level.
It's very difficult, but like when I was watching a video to find the bonus barrels, this person took a route that I didn't even consider and or know about, and so like I started using that route, and I was like, oh, this is way faster. Like, and then I went to my doctor and I said, look at this video, doc, am I dumb? And he was like, yeah, you're pretty dumb. I was like, dang.
And then you get to the my final boss fight. So because I didn't play this in the first, I think it's funny. The first time when you first get in the room, the first thing you see King K. Rool do, who now is a pirate, is he shoots Donkey Kong multiple times with cannonballs right in the back.
Yeah. Which is funny to me.
It is.
Like, he's so pissed that Diddy got there. He's just like, ah! Like,
he's a hard, I mean, he's a long boss fight, and he's kind of hard too. Like, the whole idea is you have to keep dodging these cannonballs he shoots at you, and you have to wait until he's trying to like load his gun or something, and then you can throw one in there.
Does he shoot the purple, like the different colored goop?
Yes, that's in
that time? Yeah.
Later on, but yeah, it's a long fucking fight.
It is. And like, the cool thing about it, which I was always like, damn, that, like, what if guns could do that? Is like, he'll shoot, like, he'll shoot out the goop, and like it does the circle, and then when he shoots the cannonballs in the barrel, like they go in the circle, and I was like, damn, that's so cool. Like,
it is a cool fight. It goes a little too long for my taste, but I really have a distaste for any boss fight in any game that just doesn't end. I mean, and that's a very common thing in this era. I just don't like it in games, like, because I want to move on. I want to beat it. I don't want to be just completely challenged and have to just memorize your pattern and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a difficult fight for sure.
That's always how I've been, so that's not new. How I play a game, but it's still a very cool fight. I mean, it's long. Alyssa, do you have anything you want to say about King K. Rool? Okay, and wait. So.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. What?
I know.
No.
Okay, and then after you beat King K. Rool, depending on how many of the DK coins you have collected, it has a ranking system. Cranky will show you, and it'll be Mario, Link, and Yoshi. Why is Link number 3? I don't know. Hey, I
was about to bring that up too.
He shouldn't be number 3. Did you
look in the trash can?
And I see a Sonic Shoeser in there.
Mm-hmm. And there's an Earthworm Jim gun like laying beside it.
I forget there was a day when Earthworm Jim was cool.
Dude, they just put that on Nintendo Switch Online, and I was like, ooh, Earthworm Jim. And then I played like 30 seconds of it. I was like, ooh, this is bad.
Oh, yes.
Weird choice.
A lot of people love that game, though.
I remember playing it as a kid and liking it, I guess. I don't know.
I never played it as a kid, but then I've heard about it like recently. One of my friends was talking about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And I looked it up, and I'm like, this looks very interesting.
Yeah. I think like it was aimed toward older kids, so I think that's why I played it, because I was just like, oh, I want to be old, and now I'm like, I want to be old. But yeah,
well, old is wonderful. Your back hurts all the time.
Yeah.
And wonderful.
But then I played it on Nintendo Switch Online, and I was just like, oh, like, yep, I have no patience for this. Like, how do you aim in this game? Like,
it's bad. I think the people that think highly of this game don't remember it. Oh, I speak highly of Earthworm Jim. It's just, but I mean, again, at the era, it would have been a game that was more recognized, so it makes sense. But I'm just like, why? It's not good.
I just miss that. I kind of miss that era of games where, like, you know, Rare can put like stuff like that in the game and like rank you against other video game heroes, you know, and then like is a diss to Sega. They're like, Sonic's in the trash, you know. Like, I kind of want like if like all of the like people who are invested in like toxicity towards like, you know, Xbox over PlayStation ratio, you know, like if they didn't exist, I feel like companies might do stuff like that a lot more, you know, where they're just like, oh, here's Mario pooping on the toilet because he sucks. Like,
I mean, you can have a
people
point.
didn't take it seriously. Like, you know, I saw it. I didn't go to my cousins who had a Sega Genesis, and I was like, yeah, he's in the trash can, nerd. Like, get out of here with your Sonic.
You didn't go, Nintendo does, Sega don't. You didn't do
that. Like, you know, I didn't care. It was just like, I just want to play cool games and eat.
I mean, there were the console wars back then were a big deal to people, just not to me. But
yeah, and it's still a big deal to people, which is just stupid. It's like,
and then you go get the last coin because you can only get 38 DKC coins before you go and beat K. Rool, and then you get the final fight, which I have never seen. Well, I've seen in videos, but never done and never will do because I don't care enough. Nate, do you want to talk about this fight?
Yes, from when I played it like a month ago. It's only a few phases, and it's like it's a continuation of, you know, the
first fight.
Yeah, the first fight. Thank you. Where it immediately starts off like, you know, he's doing advanced patterns with his guns and stuff, and then when you beat him, his gun explodes in his face, and he goes flying into his volcano lair and dies, quote unquote. And like the whole like it explodes and stuff, and like it is a very satisfying ending.
Well, that's not. You only have to hit him once. You just have to dodge his stupid pattern and hit him once, and he's dead. That's cool.
It felt like more.
It is long. The first
maybe
pattern,
just because you have to like dodge all those patterns.
Yeah, it's a long first pattern though.
I played it a month ago because I thought we were doing it first.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
But instead you got to play 007 Everything or Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm still so glad I finally played that game though. I really
am.
Both
games are good.
Yes.
DKC 2 is a lot better though.
I also thought it was weird that when they have the little ranking that it's Mario, Yoshi, and Link, I felt like it should have been like it should have been someone else, not two people from the same franchise. Like, why not Mario, Samus, and Link?
Well, I can answer that with eyeglasses from the year of our Lord 2022. Apparently, Samus and the Metroid series, like back then, were never a big deal to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like in Japan.
Still not.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like they, like, you know, it wasn't until like Metroid Prime and Metroid Fusion that they realized that like people like Metroid games. But yeah, so I could see why. And plus, I don't think Super Metroid sold that well. So if you have like Samus appearing in this like game, and people are gonna be like, "Who the hell is this?" Like, you know, which I don't think. Did Super Metroid release before this?
I thought it did. I don't know. Because this came out in 1995, Super Metroid. Let's use our handy dandy internet and find this out.
1994. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you are right though. Metroid just wasn't as known as it should have been.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I didn't hear about Metroid. Like, and I had a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo and a GameCube. And then, like, when I got Metroid, like, I bought Metroid Prime because I saw it at Walmart for $20. And I said, damn, that cover art looks cool. Because that's how I bought games back then. And so I mowed, like, I told my mom I was going to mow lawns to earn money to buy it. And she said, okay. I mowed one lawn. and the guy paid me $20 because it was a big lawn, and I never mowed another lawn again.
I got what I wanted. Goodbye.
Yeah, I said, hell yeah, dude.
I remember doing that. Like, I sold papers at one point on a corner for a friend of mine when he had a route and he couldn't do it, and he had me do it. I remember wanting to just so I could buy, and I bought Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes.
Oh,
I still remember that. Good game. I still have it to the left of me. So
it's expensive.
Yes, it is. So is Eternal Darkness, which I forgot I own, but I have next to me often.
Yeah, I had Eternal Darkness as well, and I never beat that game because it was so difficult. But I remember, like, I loved it because, like, it would do screwy things with you. And I was like, that's amazing. Like, yeah, tell me you're deleting my save file. Like, pretend you just turned my TV off. That's awesome. Like,
you should definitely replay it, except you can't play it legally, but you definitely should replay it. Because they will never re-release that game, ever.
No.
So it's, yeah, I mean, well, Silicon Knights don't exist anymore and got sued into the ground. So yeah, you won't see Eternal Darkness get
never
re-released.
See it again. Yeah.
I can help you find it in other ways, but I think we should go. Any last things you want to say about Country 2 before we go on to questions, memories, and comments?
Yes. All right. Drum roll. This game is better than Super Mario World. It is the best platformer.
I was going to say Super Mario Sunshine. I was going to freak out.
No, but of what I've played of Super Mario Sunshine, I can't beat Super Mario Sunshine. I tried on that Mario collection on the Switch, and I'm just like, I don't understand this. Like,
okay, you know how
but that
you
goes
feel
back to
about this game? That's how I feel about that game. Like, I have a passion for Super Mario Sunshine. Like, I love that game so much. I even listened to the soundtrack. Like, I had, we were driving to Florida, and I was listening to the soundtrack because I just love it. So
that's a good idea, though. Like, if you're going somewhere tropical, just throw on the Super Mario Sunshine soundtrack. Like, you'll be immediately like in beach mode.
Yes.
Okay.
But I
never played it yet.
I honestly think it's better than it has better secrets. It has better level design. It's the best music on, like, of the Super Nintendo console. Like, just fantastic, out of this world music. The better boss fights. Like, it's just so good. Like, that is a hill I have died on for many years.
Okay.
And everyone tells me I'm wrong, and I'm like, no. Like, when was the last time you played Donkey Kong Country 2, and when was the last time you played Super Mario World? Like, play them back to back, and you're gonna be like, wow, I better call up that kid from 8th grade and tell him he was right. Donkey Kong Country 2 is better.
All right, I'm going to go on to questions, comments, or memories. First, from the I Watched the Entire Orbulent Super Replay Facebook group. From Tim McLellan, my favorite of the 3. I remember doing the secret in the first level that lets you get 75 Creme coins for the bonus levels.
Hey, there you go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
From Caleb Zerkowski. Oh, no, he's just showing me pictures that I can't show you because this is an audio podcast. Where he posted a thing for all the list of ideas for the new Kong before they chose Dixie. So there's a lot.
Oh, really?
That's cool, though.
Oh. If you still have access to that post, will you tag me? I want to see those.
I will. Yeah, he had a name. Yeah, for let me see here. He had notes that somebody must have posted that they were thinking of. Like, they were thinking of for Diddy's girlfriend, Diddy Ann, Dee, Daisy, Dandy, Dixie, Dolly, Dizzy, Danny, Dippy, Darlene, Delia. So there's some of the names. Deaky, Deebo. Keeps going. I'm going to stop there, but it
they
keeps
should have
going.
gone with Darlene.
And from Matt Pickleton, my favorite game of all time. The secrets, exploration, and platforming are pure perfection, and Dixie's helicopter twirl makes her one of the most fun to play platforming characters of all time. My personal opinion is the best platformer on the SNES. You happy, Nate?
I am, and I actually do. I saw that, and I commented with him.
Yes, you did.
So I was like, yes.
Of course you did.
All right, one I can read from Caleb Zerkowski. I love this game. Big improvement over the original in just about every way, in my opinion. Sometimes my cousins and I would turn on the SNES just to hear the opening theme song. We'd go swim in the pool, singing the songs from the game, and pretending to be other Kongs on a big pirate adventure. The game sparked our imagination so much, I'm currently replaying the original DKC, and I can't wait to finish this so I can replay DKC 2 for the first time since the 90s.
Oh,
You're
That's
in
awesome.
for a treat. It holds up so good.
I'm always happy when people can go back to a game that they loved, or, and don't remember. Like, I mean, I'm a big, the show, but I'm also big about go back to games that you enjoyed as a kid. Like, find a way to play them. If they're not out there for you to play legally, find a different way, but play them. They're worth it. You know, I'm always been big about that.
Open that can of edibles and find Eternal Darkness.
You know, that would be a fun experience to play that one.
No, you would die.
But unfortunately, I'm not in Vegas anymore. In Minnesota, they are not legal right now, so I cannot, because I follow the law for the most part. And from the Super Nintendo Super Group, from David Rodriguez, this was definitely one of my favorite games of all time. As I'm sure everyone agrees, the soundtrack is amazing and the game is challenging. We had our Super Nintendo set up in our laundry area. It was a tight fit, and my brother and I would sit on the floor and prop ourselves against the door as we played the game together. We did the same for so many other games. When I play classic games now, I have the cushion on my ottoman, but I still pull myself close to the TV and wrap a blanket around myself.
Oh.
And from Christopher Barkley, 2. Mostly because 2 is objectively the best one. They had a lot of steam built up from the success of the first one. They had a lot more resources for the second one, and a lot more went into it. Unfortunately, the SNES life cycle was ending, and the studios had to work on DK64, so DK3 was a little rushed and a bit less polished, which is why the levels were much more stamped than the levels in the first 2. All right. And by stamped, I mean it was evidently they used a much more limited level painter.
I was about to ask what stamped.
Yeah, I was too. And then I noticed they had more in the comment. And from Alex Hartford, because I said that when I played DKC2 a year ago or however many long ago, I left a bad taste in my mouth. So his comment is, what left a bad taste? DKC was as close to gaming perfection as is possible to get for me. I enjoyed replaying it recently. It especially was fun as my younger brother kept dying, and I got us through the harder bits. He beat me on almost everything since we were teens, so it was a big win for me. I also beat him on Top Gear recently. Okay. And I said I use Rewind, so Eddie Bear replying, Rewind is whack. And the last comment of this group from Alejandro Cruz, might as well have used a Game Genie, you cheater, because I said I use Rewind and save states.
Hey, if Nintendo Switch Online is giving it to you, it's not cheating.
Oh, it is cheating, but it's the right way to play.
Yeah.
For me.
No, it's not, Mike. For you,
I wouldn't.
It's an accessible thing. Like,
I wouldn't beat the game. Even if I didn't have this podcast and I had to play a game and sometimes multiple games because I'm insane, I would not have beat this game anyway. I would have never stuck to it. I can't. When games get that challenging, except for Dark Souls, which is you can level in, I turn off the game and move on. I will not stick around. So it's without these accessibility things, I would never play the game. So that's how I look at it. And from the last group I'm going to read from the official Laser Time community, from Nick Turner, this game rules. I think it's still the best DKC game. From Robbie Carter, I think it's one of the best games of all time. Nate, why'd you make all these new name things in here for all these different accounts?
Keep reading.
My brain still has to do gymnastics. It's called Diddy's Kong Quest and not Diddy's Kong's Quest. The pun. And that one was me. Yeah. Charles Morgan. Christmas 1994's DKC was mostly a solitary affair for me, spending Christmas break sitting on the couch all week to 101% the game. The following Christmas, my brother and I both tackled DKC2 together. It was a great bonding experience and still fond think of the time spent whenever I hear Stickerbush Symphony. I don't know what that is.
That's the Bramble level song, which is a good song, but as a very wise man once said, Snaky Chanty is the best.
I've had things going off and on in the background since we've been recording. It really is. I don't know why, but it's a really good little song. All right, and that brings us to Shelf Stacker Box, and I'll go first. I'm gonna put this on the shelf. I came into this not expecting to really like it. I had no anticipation to enjoy this. I'm like, I gotta play it, get it over with, and I actually had a really good time. I had a lot more fun than I expected. The music was really good, especially when I was high, and that was great. And the levels are entertaining. With Rewind, it made the challenge much more bearable for me and more fun. So I'm putting this on the shelf, and I'm really glad we played it for the show. What about you, Nate?
I'm gonna box it. I don't like this game.
Okay.
No, this is a shelf. This is a top 10 game. Like this, yeah, top 10 game all time for me. I have really fond memories of playing it as a kid. I have really fond memories of playing it in 2018 and 2017, I guess. But and then I have really fond memories of playing it earlier last month. So it's really good. It's the best game on the Super Nintendo.
Okay, now
listen. Well, you know what? I played Final Fantasy IV in 2020, and I really enjoyed that game. So
Did you
it's
play
the best.
Chrono Trigger?
I have played Chrono Trigger. I haven't played Chrono Trigger since high school though. I should replay that one
That's
day.
the best game ever made to me.
It's really good, dude. I played it on an emulator because my cousin said it was really good, but it's hella expensive, and I said okay. Yeah, it's the best. It's the best platformer on the Super Nintendo. But Super Mario World is good, but like Donkey Kong Country 2 just does everything better.
Yeah, I disagree, but we'll go with it.
Hey, that's fine, dude. A lot of people are wrong, so.
And what about you, Alyssa? Shelf, stack, or box?
I think I would stack it because, like, I don't know, it's a good game, and like, you know, I mean, playing it is fun and stuff like that. But I wouldn't like. There's other games that I would rather play if I'm going to be playing something from, like, you know, that I played growing up. You know, I'm not hating on the game. Like, it's a good game, but I like, you know, I'd rather, like, Star Fox Adventures, for example. I could play that game over and over and over again, or like Super Mario Sunshine. Like, there's other games from the past that I would preferably play before this.
Okay,
that's fair.
Okay, and if you want to hear our opinion on the first Donkey Kong Country, look at episode 98. We covered the first one. It's been a little while. And then at some point, we'll cover 3, because why not?
Will you cover Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze?
I don't know. I might someday. It depends if I can cheat on them or not.
I didn't really like Returns as much, but I played on the 3DS, so that's like, I've heard that's not a good way to play that game. But Tropical Freeze is really good.
Returns is a Wii game, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, at some point I'm going to emulate Wii because I want to. So. But someday. I hate the Wii, so you know, it has to be games that aren't pointing controls where I can just play it normally. Otherwise, I won't touch it because I hate the Wii.
I get that. I've never beaten Metroid Prime 3 because it's on the Wii, and I'm very bad at that game on the Wii.
Well, you can emulate Metroid Prime 3 on a emulator and play with mouse and keyboard.
Oh, right, but I'm waiting until Nintendo gives me that trilogy on the Switch.
Keep waiting. They're waiting too.
I have successfully avoided all spoilers for Metroid Prime 3. Like, I have no idea what happens at the end of that game.
Me either. But
nobody tell me, because I
don't know. I can't tell you. Don't worry.
I'm gonna wait until Nintendo just emails me the code.
You'll be dead by then, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well.
I don't foresee them emailing you a code. Nintendo doesn't like to give away money or make money sometimes, but hey, Nintendo for you. All right, and if you want to hear next week's episode, next week we are diving into a game that I can't wait to talk about, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I also beat that like a couple weeks ago. It's like, Rise of the Tomb Raider is really good. Really good. I'm not on that episode. Can I tell you my one gripe with that game? Sure.
I played that game with headphones on the PS4, and the AK-47 gun in that game, it sounds like they recorded the sound of it shooting while they were at the Grand Canyon because it's so echoey. And like the first time I noticed it, I was like in a shack or something with someone, and I just pulled it out real quick and I shot it, and I was like, no, that's not how it should sound. And I can't play that game now because of it.
Just don't use the AK. I don't. I use the bow.
But I'm always reminded of it. It's like that ghost from It Follows. It's just there, man.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can find over 300 other episodes that we have done on the show. We do comics, we do movies, we do games mostly, and then we also do interviews sometimes. There's one that's going up around the time you're hearing this. And we also have a Patreon. And the current Patreon poll, for as little as $1, you can go vote in our Patreon. It's going to be a sequel poll from episodes that we have done earlier. You get to choose from Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Blade 2, or Resident Evil Apocalypse. So you get to choose what sequel we should cover for May. Or in June. Yeah, because this is for the May Patreon poll.
Let There Be Carnage.
That was right, yeah. We just did the first one not that long ago, and because people voted for that, so I figured I'll put this one on there. Yeah, so go vote for that. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at Hell's Half-Sphere. You will see a link to their TikTok. Go follow her on there. She made our music. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MCU roundup with me. We went through all 23 of those movies. Go check those out. He has his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 40, so definitely go follow him. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.